How you doing, baby? I know it's been
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole or Nicole Corinne. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. And if you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about, or I'm going to be talking about, my journey into getting into the nursing program, which is where we are today. If you did happen to watch videos before seeing this one, welcome back and thank you so much for coming to watch another video. So let's just hop right into it. Okay, so obviously I got into nursing school, and I want to just kind of recap where it started and where we are today in June of 2022. So I started nursing, I didn't start nursing school. Go back. I started my college career. Is that what it is? I don't know. College journey. At any rate, anywho, whatever. So I enrolled in my first college course in 2007. I always knew that I wanted to eventually become a registered nurse, but I did, since it was the very first time I was taking college courses, I had to take, a few college placement tests, reading, writing, math, and the reading and writing, they were cool. Math was cool too, but math just ended up being one of those courses where I had to take like a couple before I got to the math class that was acceptable or that you needed as a prereq to apply to the nursing program. Writing as well, I had to do like writing 121 and 122, which may be different, where you are. But I had to do those as prereqs to apply to the nursing school. So I started off taking those, and after those were finished, I knew that I also had to take like anatomy and physiology, food nutrition, microbiology. In Oregon, we didn't have to take chemistry, so I didn't have to take any chemistry classes, but like, you needed a certain amount of humanities and all this other stuff. So, started taking these courses, and I don't know what it was. Like, I knew what my ultimate goal was, and I knew that I needed these prereqs in order to apply to the nursing program, but for whatever reason, like, it wasn't clicking to me. Like, I knew I needed to get good grades, but in my head, I'm like, let me just hurry up and pass these classes. That way I can hurry up and apply to nursing school, not really thinking about the fact that your GPA matters. Um, and I'm just gonna be straight up. Like, when I did anatomy and physiology, well, a lot of the courses really, but like going in, I didn't have any friends around me that were going to college. I was a first time college student. Like, my mom has gotten certificates through private colleges, but as far as like a university or a community college, like, I'm a first generation college student. So I didn't have anybody around me to kind of help lead me along. And the advisors, they were there, but I knew nothing about really utilizing their resources, nor did I have one that was just like assigned to me until I started doing poorly. You know what I mean? So anyway, going back to anatomy and physiology. So I had to take anatomy and physiology, and I took A&P 1 3 times. 3 times. So I had really poor study habits. I guess I felt like since I was in class, when I would grasp the material, I felt like I didn't really need to study for the exam, so I ended up doing really poorly on those. So obviously I failed twice. And come along the third time, I ended up taking it over a summer, so it was a condensed course, so only 8 weeks long, and I got an A. So that definitely set me back a little bit, because I think, you know what? Actually, I didn't even like fail A&P. I think I got a C. And yeah, I could apply to the program with that, but my GPA was so messed up. I'm like, I have to get an A in A&P. These are like one of the most important classes to have when applying to the nursing program. So anyway, going back to the summer class, so I ended up getting an A. The teacher that I had was amazing. Like I said, like, I never really had an issue understanding the information. I just had really poor study habits. I would definitely try to cram like right before the night before a test or a few hours before the test, and clearly that wasn't working. So kind of went along that path, and since I was receiving financial aid, in order to get the max amount, like, you have to be a full-time student, so 12 credits or more. So I definitely ended up taking classes that I didn't even necessarily need. So if you're out there watching, and it sounds somewhat relatable, or you're just now starting nursing, your nursing journey, make sure that you meet with an advisor to go over the courses that you actually need. That way, one, you're not wasting your financial aid because you might end up needing it later on down the line for a bachelor's degree. But just in general, like having all these extra classes that you don't need, it's going to take away. It's going to take you longer to get to where you're trying to go. And I do apologize. I have some stuff written down so that I don't skip over anything. So again, mind you guys, I started in 2007. So I started off at Mount Hood Community College. Then I transferred to Portland Community College. And then I transferred back to Mount Hood Community College. Like I had a lot of like personal stuff going on in my life, like, you know, relationship, housing, like you name it. And one day I might share a story time about, you know, and go more in depth into those things. But life was just coming at me fast. Like I'm still trying to figure it out. I was young. I think I might have been, I don't know, 21, 22. But yeah, life happened. So it ended up taking me much longer to even get to a place where I could apply to a nursing school program. So fast forward back to, well, I guess rewind, me going back to Mount Hood Community College for the last time. By the time I graduated, you guys, I had 2 associate's degrees, and it wasn't even on purpose. It's just that I had so many classes from taking so many, so many credits from taking so many classes that I didn't even need. And I think at this time, this was like 2013, I had received a letter in the mail like you have to graduate. It's been 6 years of you doing community college, whether you're jumping around. I don't really feel like I took any breaks, but again, like I was retaking classes because I was like failing. So that was that. So 2013, I graduated from Mount Hood Community College. It was the very first time that I applied to an actual nursing school program, which ended up being Chemeketa Community College. Like I had a lot of great points. I did well on my essay, and I still didn't get in. And in the state of Oregon, all the community colleges throughout the entire state have the same requirements. So all the courses were done, but admission is based on lottery. So as long as you have the GPA, like all the classes that you need and the proper GPA, when you apply, there is no waiting list. You apply, you don't get in, you wait a whole nother year and you apply again. And if you don't get in, you're waiting another year. So you kind of see where I'm going. Like, so it was like, I'm like, I've already wasted all this time. I just applied, didn't get in, and I was devastated, but it also motivated me just to apply to our local university so that I could get my bachelor's. So I was like, well, you didn't get in, you have to wait another year. And at that time, I had enough credits to where it was only going to take me a year and a half to graduate with my bachelor's. So I'm like, well, you already got to wait. You might as well go get a bachelor's degree, which everything happens for a reason. But even with that, like, I wasted my financial aid on a bachelor's that like I can't really do anything with. Like, don't get me wrong, like the classes that I took, the experiences that have come with that, like definitely helped me out tremendously. But I still didn't really understand, like, okay, even though you have a bachelor's in psychology, once you go to nursing school, you're still gonna have to get a BSN. It doesn't matter that you already have a bachelor's. So again, like nothing really clicking, not really knowing how to utilize my resources, nobody to talk to. So I did that, but I'm thankful for it because it has definitely helped me again, like I said. So I graduated from PSU in 2015, and with them you have to do a senior capstone in order to graduate. And I ended up taking this class surrounding issues in pregnancy and birth for women, and the topic this time around just so happened to be breastfeeding. And y'all, like, I fell in love. Like, I feel like it changed the course of my life. I'm taking the class and I'm hearing all these statistics about infant mortality rates and, you know, how life-saving breast milk can be. And then, like, specifically the statistics surrounding African-American women and babies. I was like, oh my God, like, this is what I'm about to do. Like, if I can help somebody be able to breastfeed, I could potentially save an infant's life. So, or just being like a support person or an ally for breastfeeding mothers, like, and this will go hand in hand with my nursing career because I always wanted to do labor and delivery or postpartum. So I I graduated in 2015. I hopped right back in and went to school to become an international board certified lactation consultant. Took all the classes that I needed, completed my clinicals. I was done with that in 2017, and then I studied in 2018, came around, and I sat for the board exam and passed. So I am also a lactation consultant. But I just like all these things have been happening in between starting in 2007 and getting to where I am now. So that was 2018. I didn't apply to another nursing program because I knew that I was going to be looking for an out-of-state program. 2019, we moved to the state that we're in now. There was a nursing program that was like direct entry for individuals who held a previous bachelor's degree that I was looking into. So I couldn't apply for another year because I also needed to take pathophysiology. And I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't really want to take it, but I knew that I had to in order to get into that program. So 2019, we moved here that way that I could have residency and not be paying out of state tuition once it was time, or once I got into school. And I ended up not even applying to that school at the end of the day. I'm like, okay, yes, direct entry. I'll have a master's, and maybe like I'll post it somewhere up here, what the actual degree would have been afterwards. But it was like you enroll as a previous bachelor holder, and then you end up with a master's degree somehow in nursing. Just, I don't know. At any rate, at any rate, I started thinking, well, okay, yeah, I would get my master's in nursing. However, it's going to be like a master's of education or something that I really don't want, because my ultimate goal is to either become a nurse practitioner or a nurse midwife. So I'm like, I'm definitely going to have to use financial aid when it comes to the graduate portion. So why would I make that same mistake twice of overusing my financial aid, and not even really overusing, but misusing my financial aid for a program that I ultimately don't even want to be my end goal. So I scrapped that, ended up looking into the community college, which I probably would end up applying to anyway, just to see where I ended up. But with this program, like a community college, you end up with your ADN, and I think 2020, like November of 2020, I decided to go to an information session because you had to in order to even apply to the nursing program. Excuse me, I'm spitting a little bit. So I go to this information session, and then I was able to meet with an advisor and send my transcripts in so they could go over and make sure I had all the classes. And y'all, like I told y'all, I started in 2007, and then I had all these bumps in the road. And then 2020, I meet with this lady, and she's like, yeah, you have to take chemistry, which I didn't have to take chemistry in Oregon, so I was not really expecting to have to do that. But I was like, you know what? This is what you want, so you just gonna have to bite the bullet and do it. So what I ended up doing for that portion, it was cheaper for me to take chemistry online through Oregon and pay out-of-state tuition for Oregon than it was for me to pay out-of-state tuition for the state that I'm in now, which is crazy, but that's whatever. It's over. Paid for it, because my job don't have no financial aid, right? So paid for 2 classes of chemistry, got that out of the way, and she's like, okay. I think at that point, after chemistry was done, I was able to at least apply, right? So then I applied, get my time stamp for April of 2021. And so while I'm waiting, I'm like, okay, now it's just a waiting game to see, when you're going to get in. But I do remember too, the nursing advisor telling me, whatever you do, make sure you get your application in before December of 2021, because after that, you're going to be required, all the students will be required to be a CNA or have a CNA license in order to apply to the program. So I was definitely thankful that she gave me that bit of information, that I didn't decide to mess around, which I didn't really have any reason to mess around. But I could have easily been in a position where I waited all these years and all of a sudden I had to have a CNA certification as well. So that's why I ended up just submitting my application in April. So did that, decided I was just gonna wait to see if my time set came around. And then that was April 2021. So then fast forward to I think December. I was still kind of thinking about doing the other program. Like I had already taken my HESI and gotten my HESI scores, did everything that I needed to do. But again, mind y'all, I still needed pathophysiology. So I'm like, dang, man, I think I'm going to have to take it. At this point, I'm like overtaking prereqs, right? I'm like, I've taken all these classes. I don't want to take another stinking class unless it's an actual nursing class at this point. Like, I'm over it. But again, it was one of those situations where if this is what you want, this is what you're going to have to do to get there. And two, the community college that I applied to also has a concurrent enrollment program. And in order to apply to that, you need a pathophysiology. So I'm like, all right, I give. I'm just gonna take it. No matter how much I don't want to, I'm gonna just do it. Annoyed as hell. So I take pathophysiology. I finish in December of 2021. And the grade post, like, I do well. I think I ended up with a B in pathophysiology, which is a beast. All the people who say that online, not lying. Pathophysiology is a beast. It's so content heavy. But that's a whole nother video. I digress. So I'm looking on the website. I don't know what made me go look. And it's like, for the CEP program, the applications are due, and I can't remember the date, sometime in January. It might have been February 1st. And it's like 2 days before the deadline. I'm like, well, you got patho done. Do you want to do the concurrent enrollment program, which is a program where you're essentially dual enrolled? So you go to the community college portion to do like your core nursing classes, and then you're also enrolled in a university so that you can get your the bachelor's portion of the nursing program. So when you get done, you graduate with a BSN. So I'm like, you gonna do it? I'm like, like, I don't know. Kind of talked to my wife about it and was like, I don't really know what to do. Should I do it? You know, the application is due in like 2 days, and she pretty much like, do what you think you should do. So I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I wasn't even gonna apply, but it's right here in my face. Let me just go ahead and do it. If I don't get in, ain't no big deal. I'll still be on the waiting list for the community college, and I didn't plan on applying anyway. So what was that? I'm so sorry, y'all. Something just happened on my TV. So I'm like, I wasn't planning on applying anyway, so if I don't get in, it's not that big of a deal. I'll still be on the wait list. Ain't no thing. So I get all my paperwork together, do everything that I need to do to submit the application, and check my email, I think the next day, maybe 2 days later. And I see that the nursing advisor rejected my application. So I'm like, rejected it? Like, what? Ain't nothing missing. Like, everything is there. I double check, triple check, dot my I's, cross my T's. And she sent me a message back with it saying that she was rejecting it because I didn't have psychology 101. What? I have a whole bachelor's of psychology. What do you mean? What do you mean I don't have psychology 101? Please help me understand. So I'm like, I emailed this back to her, like, I have a whole bachelor's in psychology. Like, there's no way that I don't have psychology 101. But it was another one of those things. So I actually did forget to mention that once I got here and wanted to apply to the program, I had to take microbiology over again because in Oregon, we're on terms, which are 12 weeks. And here where I'm at, they're on semesters, which is 16 weeks. So the credits didn't transfer over quite right. It's the same, literally the same content, but I had to take micro over. I had to take an English class over because those credits didn't transfer over. And then now here I am with you telling me that I don't have Psych 101. Like, this is not working for me, but I'm just like, here we go again. like more roadblocks. So at this point, I'm just like irritated. I don't know what I'm gonna do at this point, because why should I have to take another class? I mean, I was gonna do it because I want to be a nurse. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So she, like, I say all this to her, and she emails me back, and she's like, well, we do have a process where we could potentially substitute out one of your other courses to replace the credits for that class. You just need to fill out this paperwork and get it turned back into me. The process can take a while, so just make sure you do it as soon as possible. So I'm like, okay, like, I guess there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, right? So let me do this. She did say it could take a couple of weeks. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm definitely not gonna be able to submit my application for this cycle. Whatever, better than stressing and rushing and doing all this other stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait to the next application cycle. It's cool. So I turn in the paperwork that I'm supposed to get the credits substituted, whatever. And the advisor emailed me, and she's like, it's like the next day. Like, I kid you not, it's the next day, a day after the application had closed. And she's like, we spoke with the dean of nursing. She already went over everything for you. We were able to substitute out a class. If you can get your application resubmitted to me by midnight tonight, I'll go ahead and accept it. Y'all, I got so happy. I got so happy. I'm like, okay. You making some progress? Like, cool. So I don't think I ever submitted an application so fast, but essentially everything was done. So all I had to do was click a couple buttons and send it back. So I did that, and then went the waiting game. So we weren't supposed to find out about getting into nursing school until like February 27th or something like that. So, just like probably many other nursing students, like, even though it wasn't time for us to find out yet, like, I would refresh my email like daily just to see if anything had come. I ended up getting on, what is it, allnurses.com. Like, they have forums. They have, so, students across the country, like, posting things and posting about the program. And so in this situation, I just went and looked at the program that I applied to and saw that there were other students who were also waiting. And so we're just kind of, in the group, giving each other encouragement, talking about what our grades were, our scores, GPAs. And I think one morning I woke up and checked, and somebody said that they had gotten an acceptance email. And I'm like, wait, like, today ain't even the day. They like a week early. Like, what's going on? So I get to work, because I was already commuting to work. I get to work, and once I know this, y'all, my anxiety is like through the roof. So I'm like, mind you, I'm at work, so I'm like, I'm in this cubicle, and I'm like popping my head out to see if anybody in the front office needs any help, and if they don't, then I'm like coming back, and I'm clicking refresh, and right before I got ready to go to lunch, y'all, I clicked refresh, and it said 1 in the corner. And I was like, okay, so I got 1 email. Y'all, it was the email telling me that I had been provisionally accepted into the nursing program, and giving me instructions on what to do to, like, essentially solidify my acceptance. Or oh my god, why am I drawing a blank word for it? Anyway, basically saying that I had intentions on actually going to the nursing program. So that was that. Like, I went to lunch, I didn't even eat. Like, I was so hyped. I called my wife, and I was like, guess what? She's like, what? I was like, I got into nursing school. Like, I don't know, I was so excited. And it was a pretty candid moment. Like, I didn't have any cameras, like, so I can't get on here and fake right now, like, with tears and all that. Like, I was beyond overjoyed, because all of my perseverance and patience and faith, and the people around me having faith in me to get this done, and it all came to fruition. So my wife is super happy, because she moved here basically to help me pursue my dreams. And what a slap in the face would have been if I would have given up after she decided to move across country to help me do something that I wanted to do for my life. So, like, and I don't know how much more supportive a spouse can be. So she was super excited, because she's like, now I feel like, even though you've been doing the work these past couple years, like, the move was really worth it, because she's not really feeling this place like that. I, on the other hand, like, I love it a little bit, but I was overjoyed to know that she was okay with being here because everything that we set out to do, we have been doing. So it's definitely been quite the roller coaster, emotional roller coaster. Getting here again, life been throwing lemons for the past, really, let's see, it's 2022, the last 15 years, and here I am finally saying that I got a yes. And I'm not. So many things happen, and I won't get in that today. Maybe I can make that a separate video, but I am truly blessed and just excited to be here. And in fact, so y'all see my shirt, if I can see it. So coffee squares and rubber gloves. So my father-in-law got me this shirt before I even got into the nursing program. So I just want to say shout outs to you, Pops. Thank you so much for getting this. Again, having people speaking life into you, it makes a world of a difference. So I say all that to say, stay the course. In nursing school, here I come. At this time, I really don't know what all the channel will consist of. I know for a fact it'll be about my nursing school journey. Might throw some breastfeeding stuff in there, day in the life, lifestyle. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but I am here to document this journey, and I hope you guys are willing to rock it out with me. So until next time, be good to yourself. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That sounded real robotic. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Talk to you later.
How you doing, baby? I know it's been a